Have you ever found yourself, like, completely hooked by a speaker? Or maybe deeply moved by a commercial, even when you totally knew it was trying to persuade you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the undeniable power of a master storyteller.
Right.
It's just fascinating.
It really is, that feeling of being drawn in.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into something that's, well, way more than just entertainment or telling a funny anecdote.
Right. Storytelling is fundamental, ancient even.
Yeah, it's this core human competence.
Mm-hmm.
And our exploration today, it's based on this really comprehensive framework for achieving what it calls mastery in storytelling.
A structured path, essentially.
Right. From beginner to, and I love this phrase, an architect of narrative experiences.
That's quite a title.
Isn't it? So our mission here is to pull out the key insights from this material, give you a kind of shortcut to understanding, and importantly, applying strategic storytelling.
Making it practical.
Because this is so crucial for you right now, whether you're in leadership, marketing, education, managing a team.
Or even just in your personal life, trying to connect better.
Absolutely. Master storytellers, they don't just grab attention for a second. They connect deeply. They inspire action, shift perspectives.
And make the message stick. Endure.
Exactly. So by the end of this, you'll have a clearer picture of the theory, the practical steps, and the strategic thinking needed to level up your own narrative skills.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, let's unpack the frameworks like initial goals.
Yeah.
Beyond just telling a good story, what makes them such powerful tools for influence? And what's this guide aiming to help us actually achieve?
Well, what's really insightful here is how it positions storytelling. Not just a skill, but a fundamental lever for influence.
The lever, I like that.
Yeah. And the core objectives for anyone learning this are pretty clear. First, understanding the theory, the psychology behind why stories work so well, why they hit us on such a deep level.
Okay, the foundations.
Right. Second, developing the actual practical skills, how to structure, create, and then refine narratives that are coherent, compelling, and, crucially, have a defined purpose.
Not just telling stories for the sake of it.
Exactly. Third, applying it strategically. Using stories in different contexts, professional, personal, to hit specific goals. And maybe the most interesting one, cultivating a narrator's mindset.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It means learning to see the world around you as just this endless source of story material, constantly observing, filtering experiences for their narrative potential.
I love that idea, seeing the world in story mode. But, okay, that sounds great, but how do you know if you're actually getting better? Storytelling feels so subjective.
Nuance.
Yeah. How do you measure growth in something like that? Feels a bit like trying to measure creativity.
That's a really critical point, and the framework tackles it with surprisingly specific, measurable goals, concrete progress indicators.
Okay, I'm curious, like what?
So the first one is a cognitive goal. Basically, can you take any story, a movie, a speech, an ad, whatever, and break it down?
Deconstruct it.
Yeah. Identify its core parts. Character, desire, conflict, climax, resolution. But also understanding how those elements are used, maybe even subtly twisted by a master storyteller for effect. It's beyond just naming parts. It's understanding the intent.
Got it. Analyzing the craft.
Precisely. Then there's a creation goal. Can you actually write or tell, say, at least 5 complete stories yourself? Short ones, maybe 2 or 3 minutes each.
Okay.
And importantly, using different classic structures like the hero's journey or Dan Harmon's story circle or a basic 3-act structure, showing you have that versatility.
Right, proving you can use the tools.
Then number 3 is an application goal. This is about the real world. Designing and using a strategic story for an actual project.
Like a sales pitch.
Could be a sales pitch, a lecture, a motivational talk for your team, yeah. And crucially, then evaluating its impact. Did it work? Did it achieve the goal?
So measuring the results.
And finally, a skill goal. This one's interesting. It's about receiving specific positive feedback on how clear, engaging, and emotionally powerful your storytelling is, whether written or spoken.
Wow, specific positive feedback. That's
Yeah.
a much clearer metric than I would have thought of. It makes sense getting that external validation.
Exactly. Proof that it's landing with others.
Okay, so with those goals set, let's get into the building blocks. What actually makes a story work? This must be the anatomy part you mentioned.
Precisely. The framework digs into 4 key elements. The anatomy, or you could think of it as the core operating system of an effective story.
All right, lay it on me.
First up, Narrative structure. This isn't just about flow, it's the backbone. It guides audience expectations, psychological engagement. It highlights three main models.
Okay.
You've got the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell's monomyth, that classic 12-stage cycle of transformation, ordinary world, call to adventure.
The classic quest structure.
And applying it, say, even to a sales pitch, is about seeing the ordinary world as your audience's current pain point, making your solution the compelling call to adventure. It taps into something really deep.
Interesting way to frame it.
Then there's Dan Harmon's story circle, an 8-step simplification from the hero's journey. Super practical for shorter stuff. You, need, go, adapt, get, pay, return, change.
Like a mini journey.
Exactly. A psychological loop mirroring problem solving. And finally, the classic 3-act structure, tracing back to Aristotle. Setup, confrontation, resolution. The key is mastering the pacing between these acts.
Setup, rising action, conclusion. Got it. What's next?
Second element, empathetic characters. This is huge. The audience has to care.
Right. If you don't care about the character, why stick around?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that empathy isn't just magic, it's crafted. You give characters clear desires, what they want, strong motivations, why they want it, and relatable flaws, what trips them up.
Makes them human.
Yes. And here's a fascinating bit. The framework highlights the neuroscience. When we really get into a story, our brains literally sync up with the narrators. It's called neural coupling.
Wait, seriously, our brains synchronize?
Yeah. It allows us to essentially feel what the character feels. It's incredibly powerful, almost involuntary.
That neural coupling thing is mind-blowing. So when I'm watching a movie and I feel that tension, my brain's not just observing, it's kind of living it with the character.
That's the idea. It makes the story an internal experience, not just something happening out there.
Wow, okay. That changes things. What's the third element?
Third is conflict and dramatic tension. This is the engine. Without conflict, you just don't have a story, period.
The driving force.
Exactly. It can be external character versus fate versus another person versus society. Or, and this is often the most powerful, internal character versus self.
The inner struggle.
Because that's what resonates most with our own lives. And tension is about managing that conflict, building intensity, then maybe giving a moment of respite, keeping the audience hooked.
Like riding a wave.
Sort of, yeah. And the fourth element is a central theme, the underlying message or idea: love, redemption, justice, overcoming adversity, whatever it is.
The so what?
Precisely. It's what lifts a story from just being a sequence of events to something meaningful, memorable, something that sticks with you.
Okay, so it's not just plot points. It's this deep connection through structure, character, conflict, and theme. A blueprint for emotional resonance.
You got it.
So we understand the anatomy. Now, how do we actually build the muscle? How do we practice this?
Right.
Because knowing the theory isn't the same as actually captivating someone.
Absolutely not. Theory without practice is useless. The framework stresses that. Mastery comes from doing, iterating. First step, constant writing.
Right.
Write every day, even just 200 words. Keep an idea journal. Pay attention to conversations. Turn little everyday things, a frustrating commute, whatever, into micro stories. It builds that storytelling muscle.
Daily reps. Makes sense.
Next, active observation. Don't just consume stories passively. Watch movies, read books, listen to talks, but analyze them.
Be critical.
Critically, but constructively. How is it built? Why does it make you feel a certain way? Where are the twists? Deconstruct why it works or doesn't. Ask what if.
Okay. Become a story detective.
Kind of. Then, crucially, oral storytelling. This is different from writing. It needs its own practice. Tell stories out loud. To the mirror, record yourself. Listen back. Pay attention to your tone, your pacing, pauses, body language, eye contact. This is the delivery, the actio from classical rhetoric. It's vital.
Bringing it alive.
Exactly. And finally, feedback and iteration. This is non-negotiable. Share your stories with trusted people, friends, colleagues.
And ask them what they thought.
Ask specific questions, not just did you like it. Ask, where did you get bored? Did the ending land? What did you feel for the main character right here?
For questions.
Yeah. Use that feedback.
Right.
Be willing to rewrite, refine. It's a cycle. Create, critique, improve. Create, critique, improve.
That cycle is key. Okay, so practice, feedback, iteration. Now, a great story isn't told in a vacuum, right? It needs impact.
Yeah.
How do we tailor these narratives? What works for a TED Talk won't work for a technical report.
Exactly. This brings us to the strategic edge. Masterful storytelling is always designed. First step, define your objective. Be crystal clear on what you want the story to do.
The goal.
Yeah.
Inspire. Sell. Teach. motivate.
Precisely. The story has to serve that specific goal. Before you even start writing, know what success looks like.
Okay, objective first.
Second, know your audience. This is critical. Adapt everything, language, examples, cultural references, the emotional tone to who you're talking to.
Tailoring the message.
Absolutely. A story for engineers might need more logic, a different structure than one for artists, even if the core message is identical. Speak their language.
Makes sense.
And maybe most vital today, authenticity over perfection. Modern audiences, they have incredibly sensitive BS detectors.
Yeah, they do.
So a personal, vulnerable, authentic story, even if the delivery isn't perfectly polished, often hits harder than something generic and slick but soulless.
That genuine connection matters more.
It really does.
That authenticity point is huge. But quick question. In this world overflowing with content, how do you cut through? And is there a tension between being purely authentic and needing some strategic polish to actually land the message effectively?
That's a great question, and yes, the framework addresses that. It's not about being unpolished. It's about ensuring the polish serves the authenticity, doesn't hide it.
Okay, polish enhances, doesn't mask.
Right. And that's where some advanced tools come in, adding sophistication without sacrificing the truth. Like the classic show, don't tell.
Yes, the golden rule.
Well, a powerful guideline anyway. Instead of saying Juan was sad, you describe it. Juan stared out the window, rain streaking the glass, shoulders slumped, clutching a cold coffee.
You paint the picture, let the audience feel the sadness.
Exactly. It immerses them. They experience it rather than just being told about it.
But is it always show, never tell?
Yeah.
Are there times to just tell?
Absolutely. That's the strategic part. Sometimes telling is more efficient, maybe for backstory or to create a specific narrative distance. A master knows when to use which tool. It's a choice, not a rigid rule.
Got it. Strategic choices. What else?
Using symbols and metaphors. Recurring elements that hint at bigger ideas. A broken clock for lost time, a lighthouse for guidance. Adds layers, depth, invites the audience to connect the dots.
Makes it richer.
And finally, really understanding point of view, POV. Who is telling the story? First person, I for intimacy. Third person, heshte, for a broader view. This choice radically changes the audience's experience and connection.
How close or far away we feel.
Precisely.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, becoming a master storyteller, it's clearly this holistic thing, not just one skill.
Definitely. The framework really integrates it all. You need the technical knowledge structures, elements. You need deliberate practice, creating, refining, delivering. You need emotional intelligence and empathy, understanding yourself and others to connect genuinely. And you need strategic thinking, aligning the story with your goal and audience.
It all works together.
Yeah. And the core insight really is that mastery isn't about the perfect story. It's about the right story, told the right way, to the right audience at the right time.
The rightness of it all.
It's one of the most powerful ways we have to give meaning to information, build bridges, and ultimately move people to action.
And the framework acknowledges the hurdles too, right?
Sure.
Fear of vulnerability, the learning curve, finding your voice.
Oh, yeah. Measuring impact, cutting through the noise, all those challenges are real, but it frames them as part of the journey. Hurdles that make you stronger once you clear them.
Not roadblocks, but stepping stones.
Exactly.
So as you, our listener, go about your week, maybe think about a message you need to get across. Personally, professionally, doesn't matter. How could applying just one of these ideas, choosing a structure consciously, leaning into authenticity, maybe focusing on showing instead of telling, how could that change how your message lands?
How could it move your audience to really connect, understand, maybe even act?
Making your words not just heard, but felt, remembered, something to think about.